Ladies and gentlemen, Khawatino Hazrat, welcome to Pakistan's number one football podcast, Pressing Matters, brought to you by On the Mic and Ismail Farooq here as your host. Today is a very, very special episode with yet another member of the Pakistani national football team. But before I introduce our guest, I really want to say do consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube. As you know, we've been putting out content related to Pakistani and general football for around 4 years now. We love what we do, but your support is what makes it possible for us. Other than that, check us out on social media and do consider supporting the channel in whatever capacity that you can do so. Links are in the description below. But that's enough from us at this moment. I really want to introduce our guest today. Our guest today is a Pakistani football veteran. I think he's one of the most serving. I think he is the most serving player in the current Pakistani football team because Hassan Bashir is no longer part of the squad. He is our national team goalkeeper. He is the winner of the Safe Hand Award of the 2018 SAF Championship. He has played over 400 games in the Danish domestic football setup. Ladies and gentlemen, you've guessed it by now. Our guest today is Yousuf Butt. Yousuf Bhai, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to
You're,
have you on the show.
you're welcome. It's a pleasure to be in this as well.
Yeah, I've talked to a bunch of players who started representing Pakistan recently. Like I spoke to Otis, I spoke to Isa, I spoke to Haroon, and now I think it's fitting that I talk to you now because you're the one who's been there since the start. And speaking of the start, I really think we'll get to Pakistani football in a bit, but I want to go way back to the start, like your early life and childhood. Can you take me back to that time and tell me how you got into football? How did you fall in love with this beautiful game that you and I like go crazy about?
Well, it was very simple because back in the days I went to boarding school when I was six or something like that.
This is in
Uh,
Denmark or Pakistan?
no, actually in Pakistan in
Ah, okay.
defense, actually in Lahore defense,
Oh,
which
you're
is
a
yeah yeah
Lahori. Ah, yeah.
yeah
Me
yeah
too.
yeah
I'm
yeah
from the I'm from the same area.
okay
Nice.
okay mashallah. So we went there. We were there and we started because we didn't really go for football there. We played cricket and we did a lot of basketball. My brother and I. So when we came back to Denmark, uh, and we're born and raised in Denmark in that sense, but we went to Pakistan because we didn't know how to speak Urdu, and my mom didn't know how to speak Danish. So there's a conflict, right? So, chalo, Pakistan. So,
Yeah. So your
so
dad's Danish and your mom's Pakistani?
no, 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 no. Everybody's
Okay.
Pakistani.
Okay.
Everybody's Pakistani. My mom is actually military born in that sense, as we lived independent. My nana, so she actually born in Kuwait. My dad, he is born in Pakistan, but moved to Canada was when he was very young, and then they moved to Denmark after they got married. Yeah, but 100% Pakistani. And that's it. Even though Pakistan is all over the world, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
आगे पीछे Pakistani in that sense. So 100%. So that's why it was also natural for me to go this way with the national team. But in the first steps, well, it was basketball, it was cricket, and we came back to Denmark. So you start in school, but we were very athletic in that sense that we were always doing sports, right? But when you come into Denmark, you need to play football because everybody's playing football. So if you want to fit in, you need to be able to play football. And
And
then
what
we
age
started.
is this? Sorry. What age is
This
when you
is
started picking up football?
7, 8 years old. Yeah, 7, 8 years old. After 1 year in Pakistan, and then yeah, came back. Quickly over here. So when you want to play football, it's not like in Pakistan or college football. You do once every Friday. You have your 2 hours and then you play football. That's it. No, everybody is football all the way in it, and yeah. So what do you call it? It's you start in an academy from start, and then everything is kind of within academy. You have the first team, the second team, third team, the fourth team, the fifth team, whatever, how many they have now, right? So this a full youth system there. I started on the seventh tier team in my age group, and we're just playing for fun in that sense. But still, you learn all the basics. Everything is well structured and all that. And I was outfield player at first. and then
Where in the outfield? Do you remember, like midfield?
number 8, number
Ah,
6.
okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nice.
My favorite player was Nicky Butt from Manchester United.
Oh,
As
interesting.
his name was Butt as well. So
Yeah.
si Butt, वो बच्चों ने सी
Oh,
ऐसी
but you know, it was so as a kid because butt is something that you would see around you in Pakistan. When I started
yeah,
watching football, I saw Nicky Butt. I was like, is this guy Pakistani? Like, you know, because and then I looked at him. I was like, he can't be Pakistani. Like,
yeah,
what's going on
exactly.
here? It was so weird because for
Mm,
them, I don't think I've ever seen the name butt anywhere else in like an
no,
English speaking context.
no, exactly. So of course, but what you say about Butt, हमें खाना बहुत पसंद होता है ना.
Bilkul.
So I was very fat as a kid.
Okay.
So what happened was that we were playing. So I want all my friends from school. They were in the first team, and I wanted to be in the first team. So there was a goalkeeper spot, and I went in a goal, and basically I was the one who fitted the goal the most.
It's unfortunately how it goes. You know, the
Yeah,
one who's like the fattest kid goes to the
yeah,
goal. You know, it's
yeah.
how it
That
is,
was
I guess.
that was 100% cliche, and that was what happened. And then from there, yeah, I
That's how
got
you
better.
became a goalkeeper,
That's how I became a goalkeeper. It
because I
was
mean, if you really want to talk about
because I was butt, because of my
because of your
heritage.
heritage as a butt,
Yes, because I was a
that's
butt,
insane.
I came in goal. That's 100% the true
Oh
story.
wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And
Yeah,
and then did you come to enjoy goalkeeping or
yeah,
was it
yeah.
like because usually when I used to play street football in Pakistan, no one
Mm,
wanted to be keeper. I mean, no offense to
mm,
keepers, but like everyone wants to play outfield.
mm,
My younger brother was the only person who loved to play goalkeeper. He wanted to be a
mm,
goalkeeper and his favorite goalkeeper was Perek Cech from Chelsea. And he
mm.
really like he was the only person I knew who wanted to be a goalkeeper like when we played, but mostly people don't want to be a goalkeeper. So did you like it when they sent you as a goalkeeper or what?
Yeah, 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 of course. I was, I hate losing, and I hated being bad. I can't, in this day today, I remember I was out and playing golf with, some friends because it was an activity of an event we did. And, I can't, if I don't, I'm not good at it, I get so frustrated. I hate it.
Same, I am the same. My
So
friends
I
make
left
so
that,
much
and
fun of
then
me.
with goal as well, I was like, shit. And then I was like, okay, every single day, training, 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 training. I would be that kid standing in the rain and just, giving everything. I was never talented, but I always trained. I've on so this day to day, with ethics wise, I don't see many that goes beyond that in these modern days, especially where everything is private training, this and that. Just go for yourself, work on yourself, and improve. Like I have my football trainings every day, but I'm in the gym 4 5 times a week, so I'm actively maybe like in one week I have like 8 9 10 training practice training activities in a week. So and then when I was younger, it was even more crazy. I would always just train, 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 train to become better, right? And I and a lot of my friends, in the youth system, well, they would come into the Super League and all that from the younger days, and I was always below team, below team, below team, and then I would always work my ass off, always work my ass off. And then when I was 17, I got my debut in Danish first division. And believe it or not, when I was 14 or 15, I weighed like 90 kilos as a 14, 15 year old. Like I'm like now today, I'm what 80 kilos, right? And 3 feet longer, my 3 heads longer. So yeah,
Wow, that's quite a journey. But I'm really like it's really fascinating. I'm not surprised, but it always like when someone like you tells me how much you focused on training and athletic development and keeping yourself fit and trying to be at the top of your game, I always think about how much normal people, by normal people, I mean people who aren't involved in sport, like professional sport in any capacity, they could be like as a coach or whatever, they don't realize the dedication and the amount of work it takes to become a professional athlete at anything. It
No, no,
takes
no.
insane sacrifice. It takes
Mm,
insane dedication, because a lot of the time it has to come from within.
mm.
That drive has to come from within. No one's gonna force you or take you to the, like force you to
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
extra training or whatever. It comes from
No, no,
within.
no. Well, in the youth system, I've seen, a lot of parents pushing their kids, to that. And how हमारे Pakistani parents, what they would do is like, my dear Amiji, she would not understand one word Danish, but she would sit to the parents' meetings, 2 hours. They would talk about, the environment, the school, and what's the planners. And she would just sit there and not understanding one word, but she would at the end make sure go to the teacher and say, Andy, how is Yusuf in school? But that's the Pakistani way, it's education more than sports. Mashallah, my mom especially started supporting me when I got a lot older, but started there. But but there, as a Pakistani, you have parents that support the kids and take them to all these steps, mashallah, and gives them that advantage. But for us who didn't have that, we had to do that. I had to take, you know, 3 buses and a train to get to training when I was younger, because you play youth system in your local town, right? So when you hit 14, 15, here now contract football comes into play. So, and then you need to shift. So I had a club that was like an hour away from my home, I didn't tell my parents where it was. They still thought I played in the local team because they would not allow me to take 3 buses and the train. So it's a different mentality that you need to you need to to grow up a little bit faster, and then you need to evolve a little bit faster. And this is the unfortunately the Pakistani mentality of the young generation, I would say, not for the old generation. When you saw the first generation when I came up with, all hard work, also in Pakistan, but now the younger generation, in my opinion, they find excuses. Yeah,
I don't think
Yusuf
that's
bhai,
just a
Yusuf,
Pakistani problem, though. I think that's generally everywhere. I
yeah,
think the
everywhere the
trend,
kids,
everyone
yeah,
wants something on a plate. They don't want to work
yeah.
for it.
Exactly, the first thing always the young guys today say, "Oh, Yusuf bhai, आपको पता नहीं है ना, आपको मालूम नहीं है, पाकिस्तान में हालात क्या है?" यार हालात का क्या है? You must do the work. You're not putting in the work. What does that have to do with the halats of Pakistan or the halats of how football is today? Actually, I know, I'm aware that it's hard to develop when you are not
But are
when
you
you
doing the best that you can
exactly.
possibly
But I
do
know
given the
there's no Pakistan
circumstances?
Premier League. I know there's no Pakistan Premier League. I know there's no coaching available. I know there's not. But now, alhamdulillah, in Pakistan, you see there's physical coaches, there's training facilities. So when I look at a Pakistani football player, now you tell me, you can see with your own eyes and you can look at the Pakistani players. Generally, I'm not talking about the national team, but you're saying, looking at general players and you're looking at their physique. Do they have a football body? That's the one thing you can't do yourself, right? I know, I know there's no football for how to know, how to develop, how to, what do you call it, to get that tactical understanding, which is huge, I think,
That
for
comes
any
from a
development.
group level, like
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
coaching.
that's
But
something else. That's something
athletically,
else.
physically, you can do it.
But that's the one thing you need to look at. What can I do? The
Exactly.
physical part you can do. You can learn. I know you don't have the knowledge. You come from Magawa, etc., etc. But now you have enough knowledge. You have internet. You have YouTube. You can YouTube whatever. You will be able to find out every single training group. You can say you can YouTube how to train as a footballer. They'll show you.
And
I
that'll
can't do
still
hundred
make you
percent.
better. You like,
Yeah,
even if you, that'll still make you better. There's a lot of access.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
like these kind of steps, I don't buy it that people just sit there and just say, oh, Yusuf bhai, aapko malum nahi. Yeah, yeah, mujhe malum hai. I've been there, not in that capacity, I know, but I've been there. That I need to take those training steps. You need to take those training steps. You cannot get from A to Z. So let's say now but you don't have the ABC. That's correct. I give you that. But what's wrong with the D, with the E, with the F, or the L, or the M? What's wrong with that? You can work on that.
Yeah. Imagine Mo Salah, because Mo Salah, I think, had to take a 4 hour or 3 hour ride every day to and from training and back home
Mm,
every day. 3 or 4 hours. That's insane. Imagine Mo Salah said, "Ah, you know what? I don't have a football club near me. Yusuf bhai
Hmm.
aapko pata nahi hai. Yusuf bhai
Yeah,
aapko
yeah,
pata nahi
exactly.
hai, paas koi club nahi hai."
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what happened. Like
Hmm.
that's the difference, I think, and that's what's up. And also, I think one thing that you said that I really it's really important. It's a good point. Is that you have to grow up a bit faster. And I talked to this about with Otis and with Isa and also Haroon. I was talking about how when you're become trying to become a professional footballer, a professional athlete, your teenage years, people around you are already starting partying and going out and stuff like that, and you're the one who has to say, "No, I have to sleep early. I have to take care of my body." Obviously,
Hmm.
we're Muslim and stuff like that, but generally, like you're not supposed to drink and you're not supposed to have like fast food and stuff. That's your own internal discipline, and that's what
Exactly.
separates.
Exactly. And you know what the most difficult part for me was, that was my ummi karai, salan,
Yeah, Pakistani food again. The
naan,
butt
chapati.
heritage is
Yeah,
the
I had to stop all of that, and I said, so, and really educate my ummi, sitting on her while she was cooking. I mean, you don't need when you're making a salad, you don't need to put like this layer of tail in. Try to substitute it with pani. Okay, put in pani. Okay, so why are you putting so much makan in? You can do actually with just amount, like the breakfast, simple breakfast paratha anda, this layer butter, this this amount of oil. I mean, why are you putting in there in that? नहीं बेटा ये कहते हैं, बैठ जाएगा it will stick. So I said, no, give me that pan, I'll show you. Then you put this amount of butter in, it'll be perfect. It won't stick. You have your under. It's perfect. You have all your proteins. You have everything. You need to learn from yourself. I need to know. Okay, now I needed to substitute, paratha with the pasta or with the. I even tried, eating brown rice because there was a fiction back then that people said that brown rice was better than white. Yeah, but then they found out that wasn't true. But all those things, I experimented with all those things. I didn't have any help from that. It's not because what I did. You know what? I looked up different dudes online saying, okay, health. I was reading a lot of men's health and men's athletic or all these things you can find online, right? And I know kids today, even in Lari, they have access to internet. I see freaking homeless people with their cell phones with an internet
yeah,
on.
yeah,
I was like, come on.
TikToks and stuff so
Yeah, yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So everybody is access to some kind of internet in that sense. So you can take responsibilities on those areas. Especially that was one thing I had to grow up with. I needed to know how to cook, and it didn't taste good. The food. I start, when me and I had to tell my mom had to get crazy mad at me because who was I to come and tell her how she would cook and stuff like that, but the change, the dynamic of it, and eating, and then I got a lot slim and I got a lot more fit and my physical out because I had to take those journeys, to improve my game.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Um, I want to switch now to the Pakistani national team. You debuted in November 2012, right, against Singapore, and
Yes,
that's a long time ago now. That's 12
yes,
years.
yeah.
And so I think you're a really good person to ask this question, and that is, how has the Pakistani national team changed before your eyes over the years? Because you've seen it all.
It's crazy. I've seen so many setbacks. It's crazy. Uh, yeah, but I see the same development we are heading towards. Every time we would start, and then we would grow, 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 and then you have and down again, and then you do it again. Like in the start, we did what we won the Zavisha and stuff like that. We would grow, grow, have really great results, win and great results, and win, win, and lose some, but lose very narrowly or play some draw and stuff like that. Do really, really well. And then we would come into the Saath Cup and boom, fired. Okay, another guy in, and then only that, and then yeah, banned 4 years, boom, gone. And then we would come back. Okay, we came back 4 years of ban. Okay, chalo, let's go for it again. We go for it again, and then we actually come in the South Cup with nothing, and become number three, and really do well again. And then we start having good steps. We have good training camp, long training camps, Pakistan Premier League up and running, everything. Players having the right age. Players have played now Pakistan Premier League for 6, 7 years. Tried to go to the AFC with the KRL and stuff like that. So getting that maturity together with us players playing from from outside and getting that, a lot of the boys getting outside and playing, in Bahrain and Kyrgyzstan and stuff like that, getting that level. And I would say, when we played Palestine, the 2-1 in Palestine, it was a 50-50 game, it was really, and there we had the full momentum. Now, it takes 3, 4 tours to see, okay, who's the right player for the position, for the tactics, etc., etc. What kind of players play well together? Now we have the team. Okay, now we built, and then again, we then again have uncertainty and stuff like that, and then we come to the Cambodia game and we are denied half of our team, and now we need to go out and find
So you're talking
freaking
about, sorry, I'm cutting you off. You're talking about the
yes.
2014, the last minute
No,
goals, the versus Palestine,
no,
that one?
that was no. That was a friendly game after the SAF Cup in 18. So
Ah, okay. You were talking about
yeah,
that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So that was probably the best side team wise, not player wise. Player wise, you cannot compare with today. But team wise, that was the best team we had built up because we had given the right amount of time because we were then creating this team for the World Cup qualifiers. We would have smashed Cambodia with that team. And then, again, you have the politics in play, and we were denied half the team, and we needed to go out fine. We had like 3, 4 Sunday league players in our team, and going up against full time professional teams, it's difficult, right? And we had poor Riaz playing left back, having a striker, one of the best strikers Pakistan, wingers, sorry, that Pakistan have seen playing as a left back, it was just unfortunate that we had a lot of players playing out of position. Uh, yeah, and then now again, we have again momentum building up, and now we're coming to a stage where we're getting this group to becoming a proper team. At first, you bring in so many different people, and you bring in so many players who haven't been in a professional environment. That was the main issue that we had, when we started up together with Shazad as well. That was the most thing. I've never experienced that because every time we played with the Pakistan national team, we still had players that have been in professional environments. Pakistan Premier League still professional environment. They would go to camps. They know how to speak to people, what to do, what not to do. And now we came in with with kids that has never played a 90-minute 11-a-side season. They haven't played 20 games in a row. They played Peshawar Cup and they played
The Bukhan tournament and stuff like
the
that.
Bukhan tournament somewhere, and there's nothing to do for them. But again, then you need to know there's a process. And even though you have these like amazing players that we have in the team at the moment, you just cannot just go in and strive from day one like we did after 4 years. We didn't play anything. We came into SAF and we became number three. Okay. But over there, you had Saddam, you had Adil, you had Faisal, you had Naveed in the center defense. You had 6, 7 players. They had played 6, 7 seasons. You had Riyaz especially. You had 6, 7 seasons playing Pakistan Premier League. You know, so it's easier to get into the bicycle again, start biking. Right now, metaphorically, you're having people on a 3-wheel bike learning how to go to the 2-wheel bike. You know,
Yeah. And
uh,
you're already on the two-way bike, so you're like all trying to, if you're keeping with the bike
exactly,
metaphor, you're all trying to drive a large bike, and some of you aren't on the same like development path as the rest. And I
yeah,
understand that absolutely.
exactly.
I think what you've said, I want to talk about the current team and that as well. But I think one thing that's really telling is you were telling me that the history of the Pakistani football team, if you were talking about it, it's like you try and build up to something, and just before you feel like this is the moment, it goes boom. So
Yeah,
it's a personal question, and I think I want to. It's not just for you. I think it's generally for all the people who play abroad, and then represent Pakistan. Isn't it frustrating as someone from outside the system, more or less, who's obviously in love with Pakistan, wants to represent Pakistan wholeheartedly, and you want to do what's best for Pakistan, but then when the situation around you in Pakistan is so, I don't even know what to call it, so catastrophic, what, like, I don't know how else to phrase it. What, why don't you guys just pack up shop? Like, what makes you keep coming back?
Yeah,
Because I would
yeah.
be so frustrated. I would be like, you know
This
what?
is
Screw
yeah,
this.
yeah. And you know what? I remember when I went to Abdul and Abdullah Ibn Abdul Arshid, and told them, okay, you guys need to join the national team. And I told them, listen, guys, things will be hectic. You'll get some crazy breakfast, a dinner that has nothing to do with football. You have preparations that will be crazy. You will have 72 hours flight, under 24 hours in a game. Before games, you will have a lot of hectic. You will have a lot of stress. You will have a lot of pushback. You will have a lot of things that has nothing to do with football at all. But when you are in that field for those, when the national anthem goes on and you have those 90 minutes, you say, forget that. I'm coming in tomorrow. I'm coming again tomorrow again. I'm coming in tomorrow. And then, excuse my French, you get shit on. And you get shit on again and again with every crazy scenarios, political wise, football wise, having a coach coming in and actually telling you, oh, you need to pass it with this, like this. And you're like, oh, you joking me? We had a coach, I'm not going to say a name, telling Muhammad Ali, who just came from freaking FC Copenhagen Super League team, plays in the Champions League, and stopping the training and explaining how to make a inside foot pass to show that they're, 10 years ago. But yeah, you will have these kind of situations, and you'll be like, what is going on? You won't be sleeping for 72 hours because you're traveling. I don't know where. I remember we were playing Philippines in the President's Peace Cup. Sorry, it was. We traveled for 60 something hours and we're playing 11 hours later. You know, and don't let me get me started about India, where me and I think six other players, we were playing 7 o'clock. We were in the airport at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane. Yeah, I
So, but
remember that.
but again, when you play those 90 minutes, you represent Pakistan and you play for the flag. You play for the nation. It is the feeling is, and you see the fans, and Dil Pakistan, and you're like, yeah, it's it gives goosebumps every single time, and you just come again and again and again and again.
That's beautiful, man. I mean, I can't imagine, because the feeling, because ever since I started the podcast, the first competitive match that we played was the one against Cambodia.
Mm.
And the feeling when you see that national anthem go, even from here, sitting here on watching it on the screen, it's insane. Sorry, the first competitive match that we played, sorry, was the SAF championship, championship, and seeing the first match again, even, and that was against India, by the way. That was
Yeah,
insane. The
yeah,
first competitive match, and that's against India. That was insane. And just watching it from here, and I can't imagine when you're in the stadium and everything's go, and
yeah,
wow, I can only imagine. So I think, yeah, that really answers
yeah.
my question, I
And
guess.
and that feeling when you play Pakistan India, it's the best. I remember in was it in 18 SAF, and we lived at the same hotel as the Indian players, and just from the start, from the start, you were giving the highs, you were going front and back, and yeah, so it was fun. I love it. I love the Pakistan India. Oh, we also did it actually in 13 where we lost the 1-0, right? In 13 as well. Yeah, 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 I remember that. We also were in the same hotel, but it's funny, and it's I love it. I
It's
love
a
it.
very interesting dynamic,
Yeah.
even in cricket, for example. Like, you're having these major rivalries, but off the pitch, they're friends as well, and there's like a bit of like some players have needle amongst one another. Like it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
pretty interesting
yeah, yeah,
dynamic
it's
going on because we're
yeah.
very similar, obviously, as people.
Mm.
Um, Now I want to turn back to the current squad. Um, you already mentioned how it's a bit different from the previous ones because of like the players who were there and everything. But what has surprised, is that the thing that has surprised you most, or did surprise you the most about the current team, or is there something else?
What surprised me about the current team, but that because I have been with less good players, let's say it like that, and achieved more from the start. So I was actually really surprised with that talent and that group of people that we have. That actually, but again, I didn't grasp. I What I didn't understand was for myself is that I didn't understand where the boys actually came from because I actually didn't know that actually uh, that that they hadn't played any 11-side football. That was just strange for me. Even though I have been in Pakistan football so long, I couldn't grasp that these boys had actually never played 11-side football because that's just so natural for me from when I was 7 to 8 years
And
old.
they're in the national team. It's insane. Like if you think
Yeah,
about it, it makes no sense. And it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
their
yeah.
fault. It's just it
No,
makes no
no.
sense. Like
They have the talent. They have the talent. Nothing there. The boys have the talent, but you just cannot. And that was my biggest surprise with the squad today. I looked at the squad like, shit, we're gonna win that cup. Shit, we're going to this in Mauritius. We got to smash everybody. I go like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna play from the back. We're gonna do this, that. We're gonna curl him. When he comes there, I'll go that way. He go that way. I go this way. He goes straight. I'm like, what's going
yeah,
on here?
because they're not used to the because when
Yeah,
the match is on, it's it's like everything else. When you develop the
yeah.
technical capacity of football, the tactical capacity, the training that you've been doing since you've been 8 is so that by the time you get to 18 or 20, it's like clockwork.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You don't have time to think in the higher levels of the
No, no,
game.
no,
So
no,
the
no.
problem with them is that they like that you're also, once you're going through the local pyramid, you're also learning how to navigate competition, how to
Mm,
navigate going a goal down, going 2 goal down, going a man down. All of these situations you're going through as you're getting older, so you're not only learning the technical side of things, but also the psychological and the mental side of
mm,
things, and how to react as an individual and as a team. Okay, one of your players makes a mistake, what are you going to do now? These are just things that are so natural in a football setup or in a country that has this stuff like from the ground up. So when you have a country which doesn't have that, and you have players who haven't played a league system, they don't have that. They've never gone a
uh,
goal down. They've never gone a goal down. They've never experienced being 2-0 down in 10 minutes. They don't know what to
mm,
do. So that's why
mm.
when you're thinking he's going to go here, he's trying to go out of the stadium. So it's like I think that's a pretty important point. And that brings me to the thing that is actually insane. I think even with such an inexperienced sort of squad, with players who hadn't played a league system, proper league before, we still won our first ever a FIFA World Cup first round qualifier in our
Yeah,
history, and at home.
yes,
It happened at
yes.
home, which is
Mm.
insane. How was that? Like, I asked all the players, obviously, who I talked to after the match, but can you tell me what you felt like?
I think for me it was a little bit more than the rest of the boys. I would say uh, without neglecting anyone, because I have seen a lot more than the rest of the boys. I have experienced a lot more hatred, politics, ups, downs to come to this day, right? Uh, so for me, it was a huge. I would say best moment in my career, and it was crazy emotional, right? So you see players having emotions, etc., but without neglecting any of them, I would say they have not seen anything. They've only heard about it compared to where I've lived there. Every single second, I have been in every single camp, every single game that we played, and we only played freaking 26 games in these 12 years, right? So I've seen coaches, seen everything. So So that feeling was wow. It was yeah, and playing in home was amazing.
Yeah, and I can only imagine because you know what they say. It's like only once you've experienced the down do you really know. Because I mean, you know up because you know down, right?
Mm,
They're like
yeah.
opposites. And so once you've experienced the downsides, that's when you truly appreciate the upsides. And I
Mm,
think you're like the living embodiment of that in the team. You experience the most downside out of any of them because they just came in. You're the only one who's been there, apart from maybe
mm,
Hassan Bashir, but Hassan Bhai wasn't in this current squad, right? So
mm.
I think it was must definitely mean something more to you, not
Yes.
neglecting all the other ones.
And,
But
and when we're coming into Hassan, he has been my brother for forever, right? In that sense, and we've always been a pair. Club wise, we always shifted. When I would go from, I would say, you have to sign Hassan Bashir. In the younger days, he would shift to a club and say, you have to sign Yousuf Butt. So it was that kind of dynamic we always had. And first thing when I came to the room, everybody was celebrating inside. I was sitting outside actually, and 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 as much as happy I was also actually really sad in that sense that I couldn't experience with him
yeah, a
because
man who's given us so much, such a big legend in Pakistani football.
yeah,
Wish we had him there as well, just for this
yes,
moment. He
yeah,
deserved it.
exactly. If anyone should have deserved it, it was him because all the things that he's put on his shoulder and carried Pakistan, I would say, in his younger days, is just a shame, because in 12 and 13, when he was playing North and we were playing, he was levels over Sunil Chetri. He would have scored so many goals. Like, I think he had like 9 goals in what? 15 games before that, And for what? For Pakistan, who would lose all the games, had never scored a single goal. He comes in, smashes them in from everywhere. Um, so, so not, so him not experience that, and his and my generation. Now I'm a goalkeeper, so of course I can build a little bit more. But his generation especially has just been wasted on politics. His prime, he could have been Arsenal Jedi if we would have played those 8 years. He would have smashed in goals. He went to Thailand. Thailand brought him in, back in 14, in the Premier League, and he was still smashing it. So there's no doubt that he deserved that more than anyone, and and not only him, also a lot of other players' generations has been wasted due to all of this interference from. You can't even blame someone. It's just so many, you can't
Who
you
do you
can't sit and
start?
blame
Who do you
it.
start blaming? It's
Yes, you
it's
can't
crazy.
blame anyone in that sense. It's comes from everywhere. What I have not experienced in these 12 years. It's not I can sit here and tell you, what, if it wasn't for him, or something like that, it could have changed. But it's come from so many places that yeah, for us players, what can we do? We just play. And for Hassan basis, it's just that unluck that yeah, we get older and he gets older as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
but he's
that's
still an
true.
amazing player this day to
Yeah,
day,
but
I would say.
we of course, and like no one I think forgets what he's done for Pakistani football, and I think everyone was thinking of him as well. People who've like supported the Pakistani football team, they all really wish that he would have been there as well, because I think he's generally been a fan favorite and legend for us, helping us through the wilderness, as you say, during a lot of
Mm,
those years. I want to just wrap up by asking you a couple of things about the current situation.
mm,
Obviously we have the second round of like qualifying matches coming up against Jordan as well. We're not really sure if they will happen in Pakistan or not because there's still
mm,
confusion about that.
yes.
But are you in contact correspondence as a team? You, Stephen Constantine, the group, are you all like still in correspondence right now?
Yeah, yeah, of course. The team is always together. We are brothers, so we have our WhatsApp groups. We speak with each other, everybody. So there
And
we are
Stephen is
always.
also like in contact, and are there like individual training
Yeah, yeah.
plans and stuff being provided
Yeah,
to
yeah,
everyone?
yeah, 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 yeah. Claudio is providing a training plan. So we do what we have to do as players. We keep ourselves busy. We keep ourselves ready. And then, of course, we know that we have some games. We're ready for that. All the rest of the things are out of our control, but what isn't our control is what we're trying to control, right? In that sense. So we have our training plans. Claudia is giving us, keeping tabs on us, us playing outside as well, and as well as the boys playing in Pakistan, doing their training, following up, stuff like that. So yes, so we are doing everything that we can.
Hmm. And from Stephen's perspective, specifically, are there like video sessions or something about how to incorporate like tactical plans into future matches? Because obviously, one of the things is
Yes,
that there's so little time
yes, yes,
together,
yes. But
especially for the players playing abroad because they come in the end, you know. So one of
yes,
the things that
yeah.
national team coaches do, like Gareth Southgate, for example, I was
Mm,
reading that he has video sessions with certain players, like through, and
mm.
they give them clips and they tell them, okay, this is my idea for you or whatever. This is how we
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
do because they want to
We
optimize.
have,
Yeah,
yeah, of course, and we have, Alhamdulillah, now we have really good systems set in place. We have a Y Scout systems. We have Y Scout analyst who goes in and gives reports, and yeah, so we have a full system in place for that. To go more in details, I will not, because that's for the team and for the coach and respect for the coach. That's, I don't know what he wants to have people to know or not know, because we are only focusing on being the best versions that we can. But what I can say is that we have all these steps in place. We have we have everything available in that sense of guidance. So yes. So we are doing our very very best to be competitive, and also want to have those remarks that I will also give interviews about, like, have Sabr with us, because we will become the best team that Pakistan has ever had. But you must also acknowledge and see that where football is today. You're looking at the Asia Cup right now. Tajikistan just went into the quarterfinals, beat out UAE, right? You have Jordan, who were number one in their group, right? Beating the bigs, the very bigs, and then you have the Saudi, which already is the big one. So if you look at all the groups, we are without hesitation with the best group of them all. And as I'm saying, our target is, of course, the Asia Cup in 4 years from now. And I firmly, strongly believe if we are allowed to progress the work we're doing right now.
if there's
Uh,
no another one, you know.
yes, exactly. And we can't control that. We don't know anything about it. But but I'm just saying, if we don't have that, I guarantee you, in 4 years, me and you will be talking about, okay, Yusuf Bhai, so how are you going to the Asia Cup now? Or what are the
Inshallah,
preparations?
inshallah. I will be there, you
Inshallah,
will be there, and we'll be talking about the
inshallah.
Asia Cup, inshallah.
Yes.
And
So
I
definitely.
think this is a really good segue, Yusuf Bhai, because I want to ask you the second last question, because I have one last question. What is a realistic expectation then in the upcoming matches in the near future? Because I've been discussing this on the podcast myself, because I feel like just because we won the first round, people suddenly think, you know, like they don't
Yeah.
understand the realist, like how it is, how the situation is. I keep telling people, listen, I don't want to say any, like, it doesn't mean that I'm criticizing the players or anything. I think the players are giving everything that they can. And given the situation at hand, you need to realize that there's something called practicality and realism and stuff like that.
Mm.
And we're in a group with the teams that you just mentioned, how strong they are and stuff like that. So you need to bear all of this in mind. This, we're very early in our development, we're very early in our journey, we're just starting off, and we're trying to put together a thing that is very hard to put together because everything around us is burning, you know. It's like everything is burning and
But
we're
I
trying to.
also want, but I also want to give us one pressure ball as well, not about the World Cup qualifiers, because that's too soon. People need to understand that. But I also want to say something that none of the other countries have. If you look player by player, we will have one of the strongest player by players in entire saath, for example. If you look at the countries against that, what we want to close the gap towards is India, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong. These are the ones that within the next 4 years they want to go up and beat. this is the target, I would say. Now, this is from my perspective, my realistic perspective, my experience perspective. Uh, these are the teams we want to go in. We want to go in. We want to come into a Asian Cup in 4 years. We want to surprise. We want to go to the quarterfinals like Tajikistan are doing right now. We have the quality. We have better players. You have Isa. Look at his age. You have Abdullah Iqbal. Those two, those two amazing players. You have Abdul, amazing player. You have you have you have I'm the only player above 30 in the team. We have the right players. We have the right ages. So I also want to apply that kind of pressure that we can set bigger steps. But as you also mentioned, we're right now at the starting stage, and we're not playing Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia. No, we are playing Saudi, Tajikistan, what are they called, Jordan. So we are playing the big boys. So you cannot compare to that,
So
not at all, because we
what is the realistic expectation again? So I want your
for the
outlook on
games
this.
for the
Oh,
next
just in
four
the
games.
near future, I think. Like, what can people expect realistically? Because I have an
Well,
idea, but I think generally for everyone who's watching.
yeah, the basic idea is that not the basic idea, the basic plan that people can expect is that we are getting better as a team in the next in the next 4 games. By winning them, of course, we will give our everything, and especially home. If we are becoming allowed to play at home, we have the biggest chances to create something, I would say. Second of all, then we need to make a proper plan. And now with Coach Constantine in, I strongly believe because he has the experience, he knows. Okay, now uh, we need to play, let's say, Bhutan. Now we need to play Nepal. Now we need to play. So we will build it up. Now we play Philippines. Now we play Hong Kong. So you start building up, getting wins. Okay, now we got some wins. Now you go level up. Can you also win those, or would you get beaten? Okay, talk about what you can do to get above that step. Get that step. You cannot go but that's what I'm saying. That we have these players and applying the pressure, saying that we can go faster than other teams would be able to do. But you still need to take the steps. So you need to play and build the team, playing better opponents. But right now, we are starting here, and we are not even playing these kind of teams. We're playing top level teams, right? But that are all like big contenders in the final stages of Asia Cup. These are the teams that we're up against, and like our players are good. Oops. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
no worries.
Our players are good, but they're not that good yet.
Yeah. I think that's fair, and that's what I would also expect. As long as we can see an improvement over time, I think that's what everyone should generally expect. Results
Yeah,
are,
and you
yeah.
will have, and this is football. You will have games that go one step back, but then you take two steps forward afterwards. This is what you need to look at, right?
Overall, the
You will,
graph should go
yeah,
up. There can be blips
exactly.
in between. Progress isn't
There
linear, as
will
they
be
say.
blips in between. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. There will be
progress
blips in
is not
between.
linear, as they say, but you should be
Mhm.
generally going up. Lastly, Yusuf bhai, I've taken way too much of your time. I was having a lot of fun, and yeah, I think we're
No
just
worries.
going off different things. But lastly, I think it's a very important thing. Uh, the lifeblood of Pakistani football is obviously the players and also the fans.
Mm.
So you have two sides of the same coin. Obviously, I cannot imagine what it must feel like to play, like you said, when the national anthem rings, it's all worth it. But especially in front of the Pakistani crowd in Jinnah Stadium when you played, I think it must have been insane. What is your message to Pakistani football fans? You can say whatever you want. The floor is yours. If you want, I can keep talking for a bit to give you like, because I'm putting you on the spot.
No.
But if you have something to say, yeah,
I
you
know
can go
that.
ahead.
It's for me. It comes natural because for me, the fans, this amazing experience that I've seen, uh, and for the fans, it's like I've always been saying, please have somebody with us because at the end of the day, in Islam, sabr will, if you have the sabr, you will come up on the other side. And I guarantee you, if we have no interference from outside football, I guarantee you in 4 years, we will be sitting talking about Asia Cup. I guarantee you that. But in the meantime, to win these games, to apply pressure, I've played so many freaking games. Whenever they come into our field, I cannot communicate with our defenders because the crowd is crazy. And having that feeling against Cambodia and especially against Tajikistan, where there were so many, finally we can apply pressure on the other side. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But having that kind of support makes all the difference for us players. I guarantee you that. Like people think, oh yeah, but for us, this is paramount of the experience that you're giving us, the lifetime experience that the fans are giving us. You know, this will stay. This memory against Tajikistan, where I saw the stadium, it will give me a memory forever, even though it was the worst national team game that we ever played. But the memory of the fans and the atmosphere and the support that will be with me when I'm 80 years old. I guarantee you that every single player on the team will give them that as well.
Yeah, Yusuf bhai, that is beautiful, and I really, really hope that what you've said comes true. Inshallah, 4 years later, we're sitting talking about the Asia Cup. We're sitting talking about how good this team is, and I hope that that obviously means that there won't be any interference. I really hope that's not the case again, and I really hope to see you on my screen in Pakistan in March. I really hope
Inshallah.
we get to do that again because, like you said, it's insane how football was building up once again, on the crowd and everything. And Yusuf bhai, thank you so much. It's been one of my favorite conversations ever since I started this channel. And yeah, that means something because I've like had a lot of conversations in the meantime. So it was lovely chatting to you, and I think it's great. And I think we served our purpose of wanting to have a nice discussion about things while we're still uncertain about when the matches, where the match will be played, and all that stuff. So thank you so
Hmm.
much. It's
You're welcome.
really, I'm really thankful that you took out the time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm happy to participate, and inshallah, we will see the team in Islamabad, 15th of March or 21.
Yeah,
No, sorry, 21 of March.
21st of March. Yeah.
21st of March.
The
Sorry.
first one is the
Inshallah.
away game. Yeah. Inshallah,
Yeah,
ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, you heard the man, Yousuf Butt, Pakistani football legend, veteran, and goalkeeper. This has been Ismail Farooq. And until next time, take it easy.